Have you ever wondered why the 1800s saw a sudden explosion of mental asylums? Why thousands were locked away for melancholy or insanity, or just not fitting in? What if the people they called crazy were actually the ones waking up or remembering? So, the sudden boom of asylums was from around the 1800s to the early 1900s. Across Europe and America, massive institutions were built almost overnight. Some held thousands of people, a literal entire self contained cities. You could be admitted for religious excitement, spiritual obsession, delusions like believing time was fake, melancholia, which is depression, hearing voices, or even simply resisting the new norms of society. But my big question, the real question is, why would so many people start losing their minds right after the Industrial Revolution? Why did questioning time, religion, and control suddenly equal madness? The reprogramming theory, some researchers believe these asylums weren't healing centers, they were reset factories. This is when it gets interesting because the 1800s wasn't just about steam engines and electricity, it was a spiritual shift, a major frequency reset. Clocks replaced cosmic rhythm, cities replaced sacred land, schools replaced ancestral knowledge for sure. It was all locked in. All of the things they've been rolling out has finally set in place. At that point, everyone is now religious, accepts parliament, accepts their government, accepts the monarchy, accepts that whole rollout that they've been trying to do. The 1800s is when that really set in place, the new world. And the people who still felt the old ways, the ones who couldn't adjust to the artificial systems being rolled out, were erased. They were isolated, drugged, shocked, lobotomized, and sometimes silenced forever. And then there's the Mercury hats. You guys know these top hats. You guys know these top hats. Mercury wasn't just used in asylums, it was also used in fashion, especially in men's top hats. The process of turning fur into felt, used for top hats, involved mercury nitrate. Top hat wearers were slowly poisoned, absorbing mercury through the skin and lungs. Symptoms of mercury poison included tremors, mood swings, hallucinations, memory loss, and nervous breakdowns. This is where the phrase, mad as a hatter, comes from. But if that madness wasn't just chemical, what if mercury hats were an unconscious tool of suppression, silencing intuition, dulling perception, and blocking spiritual sensitivity? And in many asylums, patients were made to wear metal cone hats, some lined with mercury. The mainstream explanation was to stimulate the mind, but mercury is a powerful conductor of energy and electromagnetic frequency. So what if these hats were designed not to help, but to interfere? If someone was tuning into higher frequencies, hearing unseen voices, receiving divine downloads, or remembering past lives, or even just remembering the old world that grandparents or parents might have told them about, and they might have been rebels to the new world, these hats could have been used to scramble the signal. I don't know. I could be reaching. I'm just guessing. A primitive version of electromagnetic mind control. They weren't just treating madness, they were silencing, not just in the mentally ill, but in everyday society as well. And what the so called lunatics of the 1800s were visionaries caught between timelines, souls trying to break the loop, beings reawakening old memories, spiritual messengers that the system couldn't understand. Yeah, this theory is interesting because it says that the asylum wasn't just a place for the mentally ill, it was a reset center or a mental reprogramming center.